Um, The last thing, I believe this is the last thing on graduation, we've had some questions brought up about the graduation rate. And why this is so timely is because we're at graduation again. I just want to emphasize, as we look at graduation, and I prepared a packet for the board, we don't have time to go over this fully, but I think what's important to note here is graduation rates are calculated in almost three ways. One is the cohort rate, which follows a 4-year group of students as they graduate. The second one is the raw numbers, we call them, and those are the number of students who come into our schools and graduate with us. And then there's STAR, which is really a different factor in an alternative school. The package you'll see really attributes the changing guidelines of graduation criteria. But before I go there, we also discovered that there's 2 website screens at the State Department. One with a common login, I should say public view, that the public sees, and that really attributed a year district average, and that's where a district average of 54%. And then when you go to the login that we go to and report our accountability, you will find that our district graduation rate is 70%. In this packet, we've contacted the state on that average one, and we are anticipating them to correct it. We don't have time to go back over this, but one thing I also want to mention, and again, as you'll see, through the board's leadership and the support, we have done a number of different things to address graduation rate and focus on it. Credit recovery, freshman intervention, project graduation, and it really has attributed to our success and improvement. When you look at Desert View and Sunnyside, and I even added one back in 2005 and 2006, on the handout I put in here, it's not on the screen, in 2005 and 2006, Desert View's graduation rate was 62%, 5 and 6, and Sunnyside was 70%. You can see our graduation rate now, and this is in the accountability login and our rate from the high schools. As STAR, we are going to have a contributing factor there that lowers the graduation rate, because STAR students are much more mobile and come in and out, and it really pulls down the district average. But what we have always been focused on is our Desert View and Sunnyside 4-year cohort rate, and we stand by those. Those are what the state has on the record. And again, I want to emphasize there are 2 screens there. One is incorrect on the district average, but when you go to the school's average, you will find those on the state accountability report. I think it's also important to note that over the last 5 years, maybe the 4 years, graduation requirements have gone to 4 years of math, science has increased, and our augmentation has gone down from 20% to 5%. And yet, we have maintained steady progress in our graduation rate throughout the year. Why this is especially important, the superintendent's report, is people who are now kind of questioning the graduation rate right now. And I think just go to this report, go to the state report, and it's clearly identified, and hands will be here if people have questions about the login, but we will continue to work with the State Department in terms of our graduation report, both in terms of the public view and the accountability view. And we'll continue to follow up with this, but I just wanted to emphasize this. These are here in terms of the handout. This is not an agenda item, so we can't comment on that, unfortunately. But it's a superintendent's report. But I'd be glad to prepare this for a future agenda item. I'm sorry, it's just not agenda item.
Dr. Scardo, I disagree with that. Mr. Dong, Ms. Dong and Mr. Gonzalez frequently comment on your superintendent's report. I believe it's the right of the board to comment on your superintendent's report. Are you denying me that right?
Mr. Crouch, you have Ms. Dong has the floor.
Generally speaking, when we comment on some of the activities that, but very seldom does that occur. Also, but, at this point in time, I'd like to advise you that we might not be able to, but if you want, I'm not going to stop you from doing that, if that is what you feel like you need to do.
It is.
But, I'm just advising that there's a possibility that it might be out of open meeting law because it's not on our agenda. We could put that in our agenda for the very next meeting, if you'd like, but, it's up to you, Mr. Crouch.
Yes, I would like to comment. Again, I'm not asking for any action of the board. To violate open meeting law, I would have to ask for action, and we'd have to take action. I would like to just comment about the superintendent's report. And Ms. Long, you and Mr. Gonzalez have done that in the past. I'd like to first thank Mr. Gonzalez for, during his roundtable presentation, he challenged the public to go out and look at the data on the ADE, Arizona Department of Education website. About 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I decided that I would go out and look at that data. Now, Dr. Scarlett, you're saying some of the data is false. We can stand by that. First of all, the superintendent has continually published raw numbers that start out with 505 in the year 2007. They ramp up to 874 in the year 2013. I haven't seen this year's numbers yet. I looked at the raw numbers. I looked at the numbers by school, not aggregated by district, on the ADE website. If we look at those raw numbers, in 2007, the superintendent has been claiming 505 graduated. The ADE website states it was 602. That's a gross understatement of what graduated the year before Dr. Scarlett came on board. Every year after that, he has overstated the number of graduates. Basically, the red bars are the superintendent's numbers that he's claimed. The blue ones are directly off the ADE website. I then went and looked at the graduation rates, which is a 4-year cohort graduation rate, which is the standard that the state and the federal media have been using, the Department of Education has been using to represent how we've done. By the way, I validated these numbers off of the district website. These are numbers that are on the website as well in terms of district percentages. The percentages of graduation in 2007, based off ADE numbers, was 70.6%. Those percentages decreased for the next 4 years. Okay, and even if we take 2010 and take it out of the equation, they're still lower than they were in 2007 when Dr. Scarlett got here. He claimed that his graduation rates have been continually increasing. If we look at percentages, we're at 72% now. We were at 70% in 2007. That is not a significant increase in graduation rate. It's not statistically significant, and it does not justify all of the fanfare that the superintendent has stated. Based off 2013 numbers, KOLD TV reported that 73% is what Sunnyside is graduating in 2013. TUSD was graduating 77%. The national average is 81%. That's national average is targeted to go up to 90% by the year 2020. That's our goal. We're not moving towards it. I believe that Dr. Scarlett has increased the number of D schools in our district. He has intentionally falsified, misrepresented, or lied about the data to the governing board, to the parents, to the district, and to the community. He has cheated our children. He is an abject failure. For these reasons, I demand that Dr. Scarlett resign from the Sunnyside Unified School District effective immediately. Thank you, Ms. Dong.
You know, Ms. Dong, it's unfortunate that Mr. Crouch will have this opportunity out of order to do his best to continue to criticize this district.
Not the district, Dr. Scarlett.
Mr. Crouch, please. Mr. Mr. Crouch, you are so far off the center of what we have been fighting for in this district. And you can look at, and we'll do another verification for you, Mr. Crouch. And I want to be respectful because I don't want to come across as being disrespectful in the sense of your point of view. But what I struggle with is your continued attempt to discredit not only our efforts for the last 7 years that you have not been part of, that you have continued to criticize, undermine, and have done more to discredit this district's hard work than anyone I've ever seen. And so, right now, this was not agendized, but again, you continue to follow your own trail. And all I do is stand by our record, governing board. We will verify again for you, and we'll do an audit so that the State Department gives us a certified report on the graduation rate. What Mr. Crouch respectfully doesn't understand is the hard work that people have gone through to pursue graduation, from credit recovery to counselors to the administrators to the teachers, and that's why we tried to do this report. But I recognize the fact that he has his own agenda, so I'll just leave it at that. That's the superintendent's report. Thank you, Ms. Don.
Thank you, Dr. Scarlett, and I'd like to see if we can bring this to a future board meeting where the rest of the board members could discuss this in the regular agenda way, so that we can then take a closer look at all the numbers. I know that when graduation nights, my hands hurt a lot more as the kids are coming up from other graduation, and that we no longer have certain dropout recovery money because of the graduation rate. But I would like to bring that back to a future meeting. Right now, may I have...
Pretty strong words here. Well, the numbers that have gone up, even the state numbers, was because we had an increase in out-of-district enrollment. We increased the students' body size. Therefore, the graduation numbers go up, and the percentages haven't changed.
Well, you know, I think what I hope we can have an opportunity to have Mr. Crouch see the facts. You know, if one thinks that, respectfully of the State Department, that they're never wrong, then that's one point of view. But we really stand on our record of increasing graduation over the last 5 years, especially, and we have that white paper that we demonstrate. So right now, I'll do another run with the State Department. We know the district average is off on that 1 year. But when you really go to the site and you see the schools, it'll be very clear there. We stand by it. You know, the cornerstone, I think, of our effort over the last few years has been the goal of graduation. And we have done it from literacy, AVID, Project Graduation, Freshman Academy. And when people seek to destroy or to undermine that pursuit and that success, it's disappointing, it's discouraging, but it's also political and it's politics. So I stand by what was reported and what we have and what we're proud of, and we're not perfect. There's some errors in some reports probably at the State Department, and maybe a little bit in terms of some things we're doing in other phases, but you can't. Everybody who graduates has to pass Ames, has to have those numbers, and we stand by them wholeheartedly.
What sort of explanation would there be for the difference in the graduation numbers?
It is only the district average. That's the only thing he's pointing out. In 2010, the State Department on one screen shows 54%. District average. When you go to the accountability screen, the login we call it, you'll see the state, our district high schools and district average is higher. That's the only discrepancy. Off of that, I don't know what else they're talking about. You can go to every login, you can go to every screen. When we march our students, and Mr. Crouch hasn't been here for 5 years, there was around 550 some reports show summer school, some don't. But when we march, when I first got here, there were 225 kids each graduating from both high schools. When we march now, we march over 850 kids. And so those aren't made up. Those are real kids in our community who now have a diploma and now can contribute economically development there. So we're confident on, and you'll see it this year. Again, our STAR graduation themselves are going to be showing over 125 kids graduating from STAR because of grad lane. So we stand by that. Okay?
Anything else?
No, that's all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.